Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to read a story called Volcano Rising. It is written by Elizabeth Rusch and illustrated by Susan Swan. This is a nonfiction story about volcanoes. Now, many times when we think about volcanoes, we think about destruction and all of the problems that they cause. But when we're reading this book, I want you to think about all of the other good things that volcanoes can do, like form islands and mountains, and that's what we'll learn about today. So let's read Volcano Rising. Let's fix this a little bit so that that should be good. Okay. Volcano Rising. Kaboom! Most people think volcanoes are either sound asleep or blowing their tops off in fiery, ash-spewing catastrophes. But volcanoes are not just destructive. Much more often, volcanoes are creative. They grow taller and wider. They form majestic mountains, and they build new islands where there were none before. Can anybody think of an example where this might be the case? Let's see if they say as we go on. Both creative and destructive eruptions start with gooey, melted rock called magma. Magma from deep inside the earth rises up a gigantic straw-like tube to a vent or opening. If magma makes it to the Earth's surface, it's called lava. A burst of lava is an eruption. So it's magma when it's inside, and it becomes lava once it's outside. And over here it says magma is made up of gases as well as melted and partially melted rock. As it rises and fills huge underground chambers, pressure builds and builds and builds until the magma is forced up and out of the volcano's vent. Erupted magma can spurt out and flow down a volcano like red-hot syrup. The fluid lava cools to form either spiky chunks, called aha, or smooth, ropey surfaces called, let's try this one together, pahoahoa. Magma can also burst out in solid chunks called tephra. Tephra can be tiny bits, like ash, lightweight gas-filled pieces, pumice, or solid rocks and boulders, lava bombs. But what determines whether lava erupts peacefully or dangerously? Pow! Gases blast lava out in an explosive eruption. Hiss! Gases and lava slowly seep out in a creative eruption. Gas determines whether an eruption creates or destroys. Rising gas pushes lava out of a volcano. In destructive eruptions, gases get trapped inside thick magma or are blocked by plugs in the vents. Pressure builds until lava, ash, and gases explode all at once, like soda from a shaken can. In creative eruptions, vents are open and gases escape slowly, like when you carefully unscrew a soda bottle. Lava bubbles and sprays like water from a hose or oozes out like toothpaste from a tube. Layer upon layer of lava piles up, forming lava domes. Over time, peaceful eruptions can build mountains. Creative eruptions occur 3 times more often than violent ones. They happen all over the world in all kinds of different places. So we learned a few things here. Creative eruptions are more likely to occur than destructive eruptions. And we also learned that a destructive eruption can be thought of like if you shake a soda can and you open it up, what happens? Don't try to do this at home. Your parents won't be happy. It's going to explode everywhere, right? But if you have a soda can sitting on the counter and you leave it for a while and then you gently open it up, chances are it'll be nice and calm and you won't have an explosion. A creative eruption can start with the ground swelling a tiny bit each year. Magma gathering underground creates a bulge that may one day make a new mountain. In the Cascade Range in central Oregon, 3 composite volcanoes, massive cones made from layers of both lava and ash, sit in a tight cluster, as if they're having a tea party. They're called the Three Sisters. north, middle, and south sister. But wait, what's this? A large area next to South Sister rose 4 inches between 1996 and 2000 and continues to rise. This uplift is caused by magma pooling a few miles under the surface. Scientists think a new volcano, West Sister, may join the party sometime, giving us yet another spectacular mountain to explore. Sometimes creation happens more quickly. Volcanoes can appear out of nowhere. One day, the ground cracks and ash spurts out, forming a new volcano. So this is showing the early stages of a new volcano here. In 1943, as a farmer plowed his cornfield in Paracutin, Mexico, ash exploded from a crack in the ground and rained down, creating a steep cinder cone. In a day, the cone reached 164 feet high. In a week, it stood 500 feet tall. Ash slowly buried the farm and nearby villages, but the family and villagers moved to land close by and began farming the rich, ash-fertilized fields. After a year, Paracutin's cone was more than 1,000 feet tall. After 9 years, the cinder cone volcano stood more than 1,300 feet tall. Paracutin is considered one of the wonders of the world. It created a mountain, fertilized fields, and gave scientists the chance to study the fast growth of a new volcano. Volcanoes even make mountains underwater. If these submarine volcanoes grow high enough, their tips form new islands. So to us, it just might look like an island, but really it's a volcano that formed underwater. 3/4 of volcanic activity takes place deep in the ocean. In 1963, a submarine volcano near Iceland erupted to create the island of Surtsey. In a few years, the island rose more than 550 feet above sea level and grew to be more than a mile across. Moss and lichen took hold of the lava rocks. A bush grew and then other plants followed. Finally, seals, puffins, and other animals began breeding there. Surtsey now hosts a small hut for researchers, a new laboratory for watching what happens on a new island. Some volcanoes secretly erupt under glaciers, hiding growing mountains deep under thick ice. Grímsvötn, Iceland's most frequently active volcano, lies beneath the country's largest glacier, with only a bit of its rim exposed. Underneath the vast ice cap is a hot spot, a place where lots of magma from the Earth's mantle rises to the surface. This makes for a very creative volcanic environment, causing Iceland to constantly grow in size. Creative eruptions can continue for a really long time. Whoosh! Fountains of red-hot lava squirt high into the air. Gurgle! Stinky lava streams to the shore. Tss, fluid lava hits the ocean, steaming and hardening to form new land. For more than 25 years, shield volcano Kilauea on the Big Island of Hawaii has been in a state of creative eruption. Shield volcanoes have lots of vents, allowing runny lava to leak from cracks to form broad mounds that are shaped like shields. Kilauea's constant eruption has added more than 500 acres to the island. That's more than 314 soccer fields. No one works or plays soccer on this new acreage yet, but they will. After all, where would the people of Hawaii live if not for the creative eruptions that helped build all of their islands? So earlier when I said to think about a place that may have been caused by these creative eruptions, I was thinking of Hawaii. So Hawaii is a bunch of islands created from volcanoes. Most volcanoes have both destructive and creative eruptions. Wham! They blow their tops, then spurt, gurgle, scrape. They get down to the business of building a new dome. See the dome? In 1980, Mount St. Helens in Washington state exploded, losing 1,300 feet off its top, shooting a huge black ash cloud higher than airplanes fly, and mowing down massive trees as if they were toothpicks. Right after the eruption, the volcano began oozing squishy lava pancakes, building a new dome 876 feet high. That's the height of a 50-story building. Then, after a 13-year rest, the volcano started pushing out huge slabs of hardened lava so fast it could fill a bedroom in a minute. It built a dome higher than the Empire State Building. Someday, Mount St. Helens will completely rebuild its summit, all 1,300 feet of more. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Kabam, bam, boom! Even the most dangerous volcanoes, super volcanoes, can do creative work. Between gigantic eruptions, they can erupt gently for many years, repairing the scarred land. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, the Yellowstone supervolcano had 3 gigantic eruptions that blanketed most of the United States with ash. So much magma exploded out from underground that the surface collapsed, swallowing mountains and creating a gigantic crater called a caldera. Since the last destructive eruption, 640,000 years ago, 30 gentle lava flows have nearly filled in the caldera. Some of these lava flows have been thick and widespread, as large as 130 square miles, twice the size of Washington, D.C. But the flow oozed slowly, moving at most a few hundred feet per day, smoothing out the land over thousands of years. And remember, the story is nonfiction, so this is a true story. It's all about real events that really happened. To save roads, houses, and harbors, people have tried to stop creative eruptions, but even gentle lava flows are hard to halt. What do you think halt means? Gentle lava flows are hard to halt. Yeah, it means they're hard to stop. Great job, boys and girls. Engineers in Italy tried to dam lava flowing from Mount Etna. They diverted the flow but couldn't stop it. The U.S. Army bombed Mauna Loa in Hawaii to redirect lava from the city of Hilo. They missed the target, but luckily the flow ceased on its own. That means the flow ended on its own. For 5 months, Icelanders sprayed millions of gallons of water on lava from Hime volcano, hoping to halt the lava flowing by cooling it. They slowed the flow, but still the eruption added 1 square mile of new land to the island and narrowed the entrance to the town's harbor. Still, people are rarely hurt by creative eruptions because they can outwalk or outrun them. In fact, we inch up as close as we can to see these eruptions, even underwater, to watch the landscape changing. Scientists send underwater robots to hover feet from submarine volcanoes, observing ash and pillow lava pulsing from the vent, waiting for an island to be born. Visitors stroll right up to the bubbling lava leaking out of Kelahu, feeling the heat, squinting at the red-hot glow as an island expands. Hikers climb to Mount St. Helens crater rim, smelling the rotten egg gases, hearing the rumbling of new rocks being made, watching as a volcano rebuilds itself. I have a connection here. The part that said that sometimes volcanoes can smell like rotten eggs, the gases. So Mr. G and I went to St. Lucia one time, and we went to go see a volcano. They had these sulfur springs and these volcanoes, and they were little volcanoes. Or I guess not that they were that little, but we went to the inactive parts of them and the sulfur springs, and the springs just look like mini volcanoes. So we went over there, and it stunk like rotten eggs. It was so stinky, and that's just the gases coming from the volcanoes. Creative eruptions give all of us a chance to witness the power of a volcano rising. And does anybody know what this is called at the end? It's a list of words from the story and the definitions for them. A glossary. Great job.